Stop scrolling, because what people are whispering about Teyana Taylor and aaronpierre right now was never supposed to leave private conversations. No leaked clip, no screenshots, no official statements, just silence. And in Hollywood, silence is never accidental. According to unverified online chatter spreading across forums, burner accounts, and deleted comment threads, there's allegedly CCTV footage from the final moments of their relationship. Footage no one has seen, footage no one has confirmed, and strangely footage no one has denied, either. Think about that for a second. Why does every conversation suddenly stop when this topic comes up? Sources don't claim anything illegal, nothing criminal, nothing What they do claim is that the moment, if taken out of context, could be career-altering in the age of viral outrage. And that's where things get uncomfortable, because if there's truly nothing there, why all the caution? Fans noticed the pattern first, the sudden distance, the careful language, the interviews where names were avoided like landmines. And now, months later, the rumor is back quietly resurfacing, then disappearing again, as if someone keeps reminding the internet to look away. So the real question isn't what the footage allegedly shows. The question is, why everyone seems afraid of how it would be interpreted. And once you hear what insiders claim happened in those final seconds, you'll understand why this story refuses to stay buried. Stop scrolling, because the silence around Teyana Taylor and aaronpierre has become louder than any headline, and that alone is why people cannot look away. According to unverified online chatter, the kind that appears late at night in comment sections and disappears by morning, there is, allegedly, a piece of security footage connected to the final days of their relationship. And the way everyone tiptoes around the subject is what turned a rumor into an obsession. No one claims anything criminal happened, and that distinction matters because the tension here is not about guilt, but about interpretation. Fans began noticing the shift long before the whispers returned. Interviews where answers felt carefully folded, social media interactions that suddenly froze, and a clean break so quiet it felt rehearsed. In Hollywood, relationships end all the time, but they rarely dissolve without a narrative, and when there is no narrative, people invent one. Online observers quickly filled the vacuum, pointing out that both were navigating pressure-heavy moments in their careers, with Teyana coming off an emotionally public chapter and Aaron stepping into a new level of visibility where every move suddenly mattered. That context became fuel. Old blind items resurfaced, vague enough to dismiss back then, but now reread with new suspicion. The idea that something private may have been recorded accidentally or otherwise became the thread that tied everything together. Not because anyone had proof, but because the behavior afterward felt guarded. Bloggers claimed questions were met with silence, and silence was met with distance. Fans dissected body language and timing, because when official answers do not arrive, speculation does. What made the rumor stick was not the alleged footage itself, but the belief that it was treated as something delicate, something that could not be released without consequences, even if those consequences were purely public perception. The whispers suggested a monitored space, a heated exchange, voices raised not violently but emotionally, and a moment that would look far worse without context. That is the nightmare scenario. In the age of viral clips, 10 seconds can erase years of nuance. According to those tracking the story closely, the focus shifted quickly from what was said to who might have access and how long such footage would be stored. Not erased, not leaked, but contained. That word kept appearing, contained, as if the goal was to let the relationship fade rather than explode. For a while it worked, until the mentions resurfaced and posts began vanishing again. Threads locked, accounts went quiet, and curiosity spiked, because nothing attracts attention like restraint. If nothing happened, people asked why the careful avoidance. And if something did happen, why protect it so fiercely? That unresolved tension is where the story truly lives right now, in the gap between what is known and what is deliberately left unsaid. It leaves audiences suspended, questioning whether silence is strategy, coincidence, or fear, and why unanswered. Rumors often feel heavier than truth ever could in hindsight today. It is that uncertainty that keeps the conversation alive, because once people believe something exists, the absence becomes more powerful than any leak. Online, the discussion quietly evolved from what happened to who knows, and that shift matters because it reframes the rumor as a question of control rather than truth. Comment sections hardened into sides. Some insisting the story was manufactured noise, others arguing that coordinated silence never happens by accident. Entertainment writers began circling the topic without naming it, using phrases like online speculation and unverified chatter, which only confirmed awareness without offering clarity. That half acknowledgement acted like oxygen, Fans started rewatching old interviews, freezing smiles and pauses, as if meaning could be excavated from hindsight. Meanwhile, industry-adjacent voices posted vague thoughts about privacy and boundaries, timed just closely enough to feel intentional. Whether coincidence or not, perception did the work. According to anonymous accounts, the alleged footage itself was not shocking in a scandal sense, but unsettling in a human one, to people at an emotional breaking point, caught mid-sentence, mid-reaction, without the protection of context. That is why people say it was considered dangerous, not because of what it showed, but because of what the internet would turn it into. A defensive posture becomes aggression, silence becomes guilt, and a pause becomes intent. The longer the clip remains unseen, the more it can be imagined, and imagination is limitless. Some whispers suggest the footage may have been referenced indirectly in private conversations, not as leverage but as an unspoken factor, reminding everyone that certain narratives are fragile. There is no proof of that, but the idea alone explains the careful language that followed. What intensified the tension was the claim that the moment occurred near a critical career milestone, making timing as risky as content. That possibility reframed everything because it suggested that even an innocent moment could be catastrophic if released at the wrong time. As weeks passed, the rumor mutated into something larger than two people. It became a case study in how stories spiral when answers are withheld, and how silence invites projection. Hashtags appeared, faded, returned, and refused to die. The audience did not wait for confirmation, they chose interpretations. At that point, the footage almost stopped mattering because the damage, if any, was already psychological. Once a rumor reaches that stage, denying it can reignite it, while addressing it can legitimize it. So the safest move appears to be restraint, even if restraint reads like avoidance. And that is where things sit now, suspended between containment and collapse, waiting for a misstep, an offhand remark, or a poorly timed question to reopen everything, because in a media ecosystem driven by reaction, the most volatile element is not evidence but anticipation. That unresolved anticipation keeps audiences watching refreshing feeds and listening closely, because in stories like this, the pause before answers often. So now it's your turn. What do you think really happened during those final moments between Teyana Taylor and aaronpierre? Was it just a private argument blown out of proportion by rumor, or is there really something hidden behind the silence that has everyone watching and guessing? The story isn't over, and it won't be until someone finally breaks the pattern of quiet restraint and gives us a glimpse of what's truly going on. Every theory you read online, every comment, and every deleted post is just another layer in this puzzle, and it's up to fans and observers like you to decide what to believe. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is exactly the kind of debate that refuses to die. Share what you think, what you've noticed, and what your gut is telling you, because in situations like this, perception can spread faster than proof ever could. Hit that like button if you've been following closely and want to stay ahead of the story, because every engagement helps us bring the next piece to light faster than anyone else. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because as soon as a new detail surfaces, you'll want to hear it here first. And remember, sometimes the quietest stories are the ones that explode the hardest. So stay tuned and stay alert. So stay tuned and stay alert.